Hey everyone, I'm Tech Steve, and
as we all know, Samsung has a full lineup of televisions, and some of them are not affordable for the average consumer. So on this video, let's take a look at one that most people can afford. This is the new U8000F. This is a crystal UHD series, and one of the things that I like about it is that it's available from a 43-inch all the way up to an 85-inch, and I'll leave all those links in the description below if you want to find one that meets your needs. Now, Samsung is one of the most sold television, and this one has some couple of keywords that people might want to look for, like it has the Samsung TV Plus, security, as well as it connects to the SmartThings application, and it's got a slim design. This TV does support HDR, and it will work with Alexa, Apple AirPlay, Google Home, and the new Matter system, which is pretty standard these days because a lot of TVs will support a lot of these same technologies. But the thing is, Samsung is the #1 sold television in the world. How well does this perform, and is it worth you spending your hard-earned money on it? So let's go and get it out of the box and see what it comes with. Now, if you're looking at a 7 series, generally it doesn't come with the voice remote, but the 8 series does, and we'll take a closer look at that. So when you first open it up, over here we have an instruction book, as well as the remote and some other things, and we'll take a closer look at that. On this side, we have some feet. Now, the one thing about these feet is they don't look like you can raise the TV up and down, but we'll take a closer look at that in just a minute. The 8000 series comes with this remote control. It's not the one that has a solar panel on the back. It uses AAA batteries. And here's a closer look at it. We have a voice command button, as well as your back, home, play, pause. Now, this volume right here is a rocker, so you lift it up and down and you press it in to mute. We have a channel button and then some hotkeys here at the bottom, including Netflix, Samsung TV Plus, Amazon Prime, and YouTube. One thing I want to point out here is Samsung doesn't put cardboard on the front of their TVs, but they seem to ship pretty well overall. So here's the bottom of the TV, and again, I don't see adjustment for the foot to be able to raise it, but we have a bass port right here, so it should have increased sound. And on this side of the TV, there's a press button right here, and this usually allows you to turn off the TV and change your inputs and basic features. So here's the back of the TV. It's got this new rib design, maybe to make the TV a lot more rigid. You got your power cord input over here. And then we have HDMI eARC right here, a USB TV tuner. But the interesting thing, if you plan on mounting on the wall, it has 2 more HDMIs right here on the back, so that could be in the way of your wall mount. And it does have a Ethernet connection. So this has become the trend. I remember reviewing the DU7200. They got rid of the fiber optic output, and that's the same here. So if you have old audio equipment, you're gonna have to buy a bunch of adapters, or you're gonna have to switch over to new equipment that uses HDMI eARC if you wanna get the best sound quality. And there's a little red tab over here for the screen protector. So we can just go and peel this right off. This is not a full review. I just wanted to get out of the box and show you some of the gaming on it and the menu system that changed on this new model. But I would say that according to what I just saw unboxing the television, it seems like they took the DU7200, which removed the fiber optic, and then they took the DU8000 and they gave you some of those features and kind of stitched them together to make this TV. And I'm very surprised that you cannot raise the TV or lower it, but the good thing is you can still fit a soundbar underneath it that's low profile. Now, this TV is powered by the Crystal UHD processor, and according to Samsung, it takes your standard regular signal and it upconverts it up to 4K, but isn't most TVs doing that nowadays? Now, as far as gaming, I will say that it does have what they call a motion accelerator, but it is 60 Hertz. So you're not gonna be able to get 120 Hertz gaming out of this. And I did check the input lag, and on average, it was getting about 10 milliseconds in game mode, so that's pretty respectful. Another interesting thing about this TV, it doesn't have a game bar, and I thought that that's a software thing that Samsung could include even a basic one in this TV, and they did not. Now we're gonna check out some of the settings in the Xbox, and I'm gonna try to override, see if we can get 120 Hertz out of it, even though it's a 60 Hertz panel, but we'll see. Here's the menu system inside of the Xbox, and as you can see here, it will support 4K, 1080p, and 720p. If you go into TV details, this TV will not support 4K at 120 Hertz because it is a 60 Hertz television. And keep in mind that Samsung televisions do not support Dolby Vision nor Dolby Vision Gaming. But you do have features under video modes such as auto low latency, and this TV will support variable refresh rate, which is a pretty good feature to have, especially if you play different types of games. Now, this is not recommended, but I'm going to go into the Xbox menu and override the HDMI input just to see if we can get 120 Hertz. Now, one thing I noticed when I switched this over, now it will support 1440p. Again, this is forcing the HDMI to do this. And there is an option for 120 Hertz, but more than likely it's going to go to 1080p. But here's the error that I got, is that mode is not supported. So let's manually try to put the TV in 1080p. So now we have it in 1080p. Let's try the 120 Hertz once again. And here it is. It's still not supported. So this TV will support 60 frames per second. So your options on this TV is 4K, 1440p if you override the system, and 1080p at 60 frames per second. But in my opinion, you just leave it on the automatic detection mode and you'll be just fine and you won't have any problems whatsoever. Just so you guys know, I'm not a big gamer, but when I was playing some games on it, I thought it was very smooth and it had a lot of great colors on it. Now, when it comes to colors, I would say this TV reproduces colors very vividly and it looks fantastic overall. But I also would say that this TV doesn't have dark contrast levels on it. And I even went into the settings when I was filming some footage for the full review. And I'll just say that the TV is not going to give you those really dark, inky black levels like we expect on a lot of televisions on this market. But if you like Samsung's brand and you want to get a good picture, I think you're going to be very happy with this television. And I always say, make sure you have the right expectations when buying a new television. Now, for the last part of this video, since I just got it out of the box and all that good stuff, I want to walk you through the setup process that I went through when I first got the TV and show you some of the basic features in the new menu system on this U8000F. All right, so let's walk through the setup here. Now, normally when you get these TVs, they want you to have the Smart Things application, but you can hit right on the remote control navigation keys to bypass this. So let's get started. Now, currently I don't have anything plugged into the back of it, but if you have antenna or any gaming consoles, Apple TV, anything like that, it will show them right here. Then go and press on next. Now you want to enter your Wi-Fi credentials. After it's connected to Wi-Fi, you want to go ahead and start the setup. Now, in order to do this, you need to have a Samsung account if you want to get access to all the applications, and you can scan the barcode that pops up on your screen. So I use my phone to go ahead and sign into my account. Now I can hit next. And if you want to, you can go ahead and register your product, but this is a demo unit, so I'm going to skip that. Now, this is a cool feature because if you have the Samsung account logged in, you can back up all your information off this TV and restore it at a later date. Just for demo purposes, I'll go ahead and back up the TV onto my cloud. Now, we'll look for the latest software, but I want to finish the setup process first, and then we'll get back to that. Now, since I have other Samsung TVs on my account, you can see right here, I can select one of them and restore this TV from those settings, but we're not going to do that. And if you have any of these applications, you can go and select them so the TV will download and install those as soon as we get done with the setup process. Now, this is new. It is asking me to put in a PIN number and I can't skip it. So I'll just put in a bunch of zeros and see if it'll allow me to do that. And then you can put in your zip code. And this is for the Samsung TV Plus service. So I'll just go ahead and put a random San Diego zip code in here so I can get those channels. And once it's all done, you'll get this Samsung screen and just basically getting the TV ready to go so you can start using it. Now, we're not going to go over everything in this menu. I just want to show you a few things. First of all, at the top here, you have your profiles. And keep in mind, if you don't add your profiles, you will not have access to the applications. You can also search for applications. And this TV still has the Daily Plus, and this is like the Smart Things application, as well as some different applications like Samsung Health if you have like the watch and the smartphone. Now, this is the gaming hub, and what it's going to ask you to do is pair a controller to it, but you can set that up later. And this is great because you can stream Xbox, Luna, and a few other applications if you want to use the TV as a game hub. Plus, you have your inputs on the back of it for your gaming consoles like your PS5. Now, on the home screen, you're going to see For You, and that's pretty much all the content you watch. This is the Samsung TV Plus, so you can stream different TV content, and this is where all the apps are. So if you need to download applications, this is where you find it. You just click on any apps that you want, and it'll start downloading it as long as you're in the Samsung home account. Under devices, it's going to show you everything that's connected to TV, and like I said earlier, I don't have anything connected. Now, one thing I would point out here is that Samsung used to have this menu system that shows all your settings, but now it has this little pop-up. So if you want to get to your picture settings, you would just go here and you can do your equal mode. Let's go ahead and put it on standard, give it a little more brightness. But let's go ahead and put it on movie mode. And then if we go back, you have expert settings where you can control everything right here. There's also sound, connections, advanced features, and this is where You can start your start screen, and it does have some voice controls. So right now it does support Bixby, so I don't see access to Google or Amazon anymore, just so you know that. So Samsung's really want everything to be in their ecosystem. And just so you know, this TV does support Bluetooth. There's all your Wi-Fi, sleep timer, and all that good stuff. And then over here, you can change the tone, and you can customize the screen as well. My first impressions on this TV so far is that I like the software better than the previous generations. It seems to be a lot more easier to use, a lot more intuitive. And this little number pad right here now gives you easier access to the settings, and you get to your inputs and all that good stuff. But I still wish they put an input button on this remote. It's just something I just think they should have. Other than that, the contrast ratio is not as dark as what I like to see. I like to see a little bit more inky or black levels, but I will say that the colors on it, it's great. I thought the gaming was good if you're not a hardcore gamer. In that case, you probably want to go for a newer TV that has support up to 144 hertz or even 120 hertz television. But if you have questions on this TV, let me know, because I'm putting together the full review and I'm going to try my best to answer those questions on that video. That's all I have on this one. I'm Tech Steve. Thanks all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.